Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the PodBrother show. I'm the PodBrother. You know who you are. This is PodBrother Nation, and I have a very special guest with me today. Lahna Turner is in the house. How are you, baby?
I'm good. How are you?
I am very good. I can look at you. You're adorable.
Oh my God, thank you. I was just looking. You had my website pictures all slick and photoshopped, and then I'm just sitting here like, hey, I probably have like, I don't know, poop on me or something. Just like from playing with kids all day. I'm like,
You got kid residue on you.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're a little old now for like poop, but it's somehow.
But they can still track in like mud and slush and outdoor stuff,
Yeah, it's like the end of the day, just keeping it all together. No, thank you for having me. You're awesome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I've been wanting to get you for a few years now, and now that I've got my PodBrother Nation thing flushed out, I'm happy that I can get you now.
Yay. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, we've talked about doing this forever.
For a long time.
It's an honor.
Timing is everything, and it's perfect for me. I got my cool little man cave podcast,
This
little
is
studio
cool, man.
here.
This is really cool. You're like, you got it all set up.
Well, thank
It's
you.
amazing.
Yeah, it's to have you here gives me like the official christen of it. I feel like my studio has come of age now that you are here.
Oh, wow.
So let's talk about you, and let's talk about stuff and comedy, and let's just have some fun.
Okay.
And talk about
It's
stuff.
always fun hanging out with you.
Yeah, it is. Let's rewind the tape a little bit. You are a very, very funny lady. When did you first discover you were funny? Was it like 5 or 6 years old, or high school, or when did you go like, wait a minute, they laughed at me, and I really was trying to get that laugh, and it actually worked? Like, when did you discover that you were funny?
Well, I played funny songs, so I didn't know about doing straight stand-up, but I knew that I could write a funny song and make people laugh. And at first it was just with my friends and, people that, in my college dorm or whatever, I played like a funny song on the guitar, but I was very shy, which is really funny to hear that now because I've been doing stand-up for so long. It's hard to imagine someone being shy, but I was that kid in high school that refused to read to the class, so...
A lot of comics were shy in the beginning and kind of started off as shy kids and all of a sudden just blossomed into this limelight monster.
Yeah. Now I'm not very shy at all now. But,
You're not shy at all.
Not at all. When I meet people for the first time, I'm not like, wow, waka waka. But yeah, I started writing funny songs and then really just started doing some music open mics. And would throw in a funny song or do a music set and throw in a funny song, and I would get people laughing, and it felt good. But it wasn't until somebody said, hey, why don't you go to the Houston Laugh Stop open mic that I discovered that I might have something, because my first time I played 3 songs, and I had an unbelievably good first time. And the guy who was managing the club came up to me and was like, you got to come back. It was one of those, like, just kismet nights. And I thought, oh, maybe I can do, but I didn't know enough about stand-up. I just knew that I wanted to maybe be able to play my guitar and make a living. So when I started meeting comedians, I was really intrigued because these are young people who are making a living performing, whereas in the kind of the singer-songwriter world, the successful songwriters that I was meeting were kind of rough. They'd had a really hard time. So I was really interested in... And I had a knack for writing funny songs, so I kind of just went for it.
So let's go back a little further then.
Okay.
It's the songwriting and your guitar was where it first started. Yeah. And then you kind of found your way on stage. Like, when did you first pick up a guitar and actually start playing?
2nd grade. I should be so much better at playing guitar because I've been playing it my whole life. Actually, my sister took piano lessons, and my parents wanted me to learn piano, but I didn't want to be anything like my sister. But my dad played guitar, and he played silly songs on the guitar. Like, he would take a song and play it and sing it out of tune and be really goofy with it, and it made me giggle early on. So I decided I want to be like Dad. I'm going to learn guitar, and I started really young with it. But I don't feel like I'm For the number of years I've been playing, I should be so much better. It's almost embarrassing to say that I started that young.
Well, you know, I started to learn how to play the bass guitar in high school, and I still barely can do scales. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just life gets in the way, and that's kind of not your pursuit, and you end up, you know, doing other things. And then here I am, you know, later in my life, you know, playing, you know, Kool and the Gang or whatever.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, we should get together and jam a little
Play
bit
some
sometimes.
songs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
that sounds
if you
great.
let me know what songs you're playing, I can figure out the bass, and you know, just for shits and giggles,
All
we can.
right. I mostly just do my own stuff. I mean, I'll take a lesson and learn, you know, some other stuff, but I'm really just use the guitar as a tool to be able to put these funny lyrics into it. So, but I do love playing guitar. Don't get me wrong. That's mostly what I do. But yeah, you can play bass with me. It'd be
Yeah, I would
fun.
love to learn some of your songs there, and you know, just a couple,
No,
just so
that'd be
you know
awesome.
we could, you know, maybe do something cool, you know, in front of the green screen.
Sure.
You know,
I'm down.
pull up a YouTube of yourself, and then I could jam bass while you're like doing some dialogue or
I
something.
would love that. I'm actually in the process of recording a bunch of videos for a new CD that I say CD, there's no such thing anymore, but like a new album or whatever. I am going to press, I intend to press vinyl of it and put a digital download. That's just a more interesting way of selling the product. But really, I just want to shoot videos and make and put more comedy content up online.
I want to be in your video.
What? Yeah?
I want to, yes.
Oh, you know what? If you're available on June 2nd, come on down. I need some people to be in it.
I'm getting X-ray for my hip on June 2nd, but maybe after
Oh.
that. That's in the morning. So, like, you know, are you gonna be shooting all day or?
Yeah, there's a part in which I need a couple people to stop by and be in it. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I would love to. So
All right.
I'm gonna put that on my calendar. As soon as I'm done with my hip X-ray, I'm gonna go and help
you
you out with
okay?
your video.
Is your-
Yeah, I'm good. I had hip replacement surgery, and I'm like the Bionic Negro right now, so I'm feeling good.
Does it feel better? Does it help?
Yeah, it does. Oh my
my
God, I couldn't do anything. I was practically froze up and in pain, and now I can.
So you have like a
Play
metal,
softball
a
and
metal
run.
bolt. And
Yeah,
a metal,
I've got like the titanium
Yeah.
shaft in my bone, which is attached to some kind of ceramic material in my hip, and yeah, I feel good.
it's
and
amazing.
I'm doing good, and life is back on track,
That's
as they
amazing.
say.
Cool.
So I want to do something really cool with you. I go live on Facebook, so I want to go live on Facebook with you right now.
Right now?
Right now,
Okay.
if that's cool with you.
Yeah. I
So,
guess.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get into this because Facebook's so.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my Facebook account, and I am going to pull up the live, and so while I'm doing that, I have a couple more questions for you. So you started playing guitar at 2,
Well, second grade.
second grade.
Yeah.
Second grade. So when did you actually like write the very first funny thing, the funny skit that you did? You know.
I'd written a couple of funny songs, but the one that I will attribute my career to is driving home from university. It was my last semester of school. I was in Texas, and I heard this song. It's and I don't do parodies. That's not my thing. But I heard this song by the Judds as I was flipping channels, and it was called Daddy's Hands. And it was all about how Daddy's hands reminded her of like this memory or that. It was a really sad country song. And for whatever reason, this thing popped in my head. It was Daddy's hands. They were rough in the right places. And I was like, I'm going to make an incest song. So I wrote these lyrics on the seat, like in a piece of paper as I was kind of driving, and I put them on the piece of paper next to me. I was singing, Daddy's hands, they were rough in the right places. Uncle Ed liked doing it just fine. As I was driving down the road, and a tire flew out in front of me.
No.
Yeah, and I hit it. I tried to stop, tried to swerve, get it out of the way, and I hit it going probably 65, 70 miles an hour. And my car lifted up on two wheels, came crashing back down, flipped on one side, flipped on the other, and went down the road on the roof, and eventually parked itself about 5, 10, 20 feet. I don't even know. It was real close to a pole. And I'm so lucky because I could have had a second impact. I was also very lucky because it was in a Volvo and I had my seatbelt on and I was able to walk away from the accident. I had some muscular injuries and a scratch, just one scratch, visible on the back of my leg. And my car was totaled. So I was really lucky. And as I was walking around my upside down vehicle that was now on the side of the road waiting for help to come, well, I should say help came immediately, but waiting for the ambulance and the police, I found the lyrics. They'd flown out of the window and they were sitting on the road. And I'm on the freeway.
Wow.
Yeah, and I pick them up and I stuck them in the back pocket of my pants. And the next day I woke up in a lot of pain. But I went and got those lyrics and I sat down with my guitar and I wrote that song. And a year later I went in the Laugh Stop and I played that song. So that's kind of how it all happened.
And then from there, it just kind of like
Well, I felt like...
exploded.
Yeah, but like sometimes in your life you get this sort of like feeling like something happened, this was supposed to happen. And even if it's the saddest, most horrible thing, it's like those things in life that, when objects are flying through space and they nudge it and it sends it on a completely different journey. That's what that wreck was for me that night. It was a tragic thing to have happen. It sucked. But it changed the whole outcome of my life because it gave that piece of paper significance.
I know that feeling when things are supposed to happen. It's I've had several things happen to me, and it wasn't until later in my life I realized exactly what you just said, what that meant. Because it's like, okay, this particular event happened right now when it was supposed to happen, and it hasn't happened before now, and it hasn't happened since then. So this was something that was supposed to happen right then and there.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even know if like supposed to happen is the right word for it, because it happened and it just altered my fate so drastically. And there's been other things, like that you didn't, you're going around and you don't expect these things to occur in your life, and when they do, it completely alters whatever your projected history was going to be. I mean, I was working as a professional photographer. I was 19. I got an internship at the Associated Press, and I was shooting photojournalism images from the time I was 19, like really even earlier. I was on this silly little high school newspaper, but like I was really good and really blessed and really lucky to have had all these opportunities. But when that wreck happened, I couldn't pick up my camera for 6 months. It hurt too much. My camera, the weight of it and the injuries, and that coupled with newspapers starting to fold, it was a real wake up for me, and it changed my path in life. And here I am. I wouldn't be sitting here right now with you if I didn't flip my car on the freeway.
I am so glad you...
If it wasn't for Daddy's hands and the Judds.
So I have to write the Judds a personal letter to thank them.
I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for them.
They sent you in
they
my
would
path.
hate my song. It wasn't so much as a parody as a inspired by.
Now, have you... did you always want to... like kind of get on the road and do your thing?
Yeah.
The first time you got a chance to go on the road and really like have some fun with it, tell me how was that? Because I remember the first time and I'm not talking like the first gig where you just kind of like you drive a long way to. I mean where you actually like, okay, I am going to be gone for 3 weeks and I'm hitting like spots along the way, and in a couple states or a couple cities. Like, tell me like that first experience. How was that?
I love traveling. It's a little trickier now because then if I travel a lot, it means leaving my kids. So I don't really get to do as much travel. Well, I'm traveling with my kids, but not for comedy. Oops, sorry. Dropped my water. I'm traveling, like I'm doing some fun stuff with them now. I'm taking them on some trips this summer and like, but as far as on comedy, I love to travel. Seeing the world and experiencing the world is the best. And when you say first road gigs, that's kind of makes me think of several things, because the first time I ever went on the road, I was way too young to be doing stand-up. In the stand-up world, not in the age world, but my soon-to-be ex-husband and I went on the road together. And he took me on a trip. We went up to Toronto together, and we did a bunch of gigs. We did like a Canadian gig run, and it was really fun. I loved him so much, so it was a really fun adventure with him.
Yeah, it's cool to be able to like road trip with somebody that you like.
Yeah, so
it can
that was
be
more of a road trip, and like for me, I was way too green to even be doing stand up, and for him too, he actually wasn't well received by the Canadian audience, so that was kind of trippy too. I feel like we did a couple gigs on the way too. We hit some mics, and then we went through New York, and I mean, I was new to comedy, but I'd already was opening for other comics, so I mean, I was ready to open.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I got to do on the road, which was cool. But the first time I ever really remember like gigging and being on the road and doing it on my own, which is way more significant, was doing Tribble runs.
Right.
And I also did it's a CW Kendall. So I used to have a temp job when I first moved to LA, and I did a three. It was like the longest. I did every Tribble run and every CW Kendall run, and I routed them together. So I was on the road for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it was all hell gigs. And I love hell gigs. I still love hell gigs.
You know, there's something to a hell gig that is, you know, it's a rite of passage. It's an achievement.
I
you know?
love them. I mean, look, I don't do a lot of bombing. I just don't, because I've got a guitar but I tell you what, the nights you learn the most are when you're doing some shit weird gig in the middle of I performed in front of prisoners. I performed in an airport with airplanes taking off behind me. I performed in bowling alleys and roller rinks, like you name it, like these little towns, they don't have venues, and they put a stage up, and you're like, all right, time to try and get them to laugh. And that's the best. It doesn't get much better than that. I mean, it's always fun to be in front of like a primed great audience, but that's easy, right? Or well, comparatively, right?
Yeah. It is easy because, you know, everything is stacked in your favor with those shows. There's a lot of money and effort and energy.
You don't have to deal with the drunk guy who can stand right by the stage like this and like for the entire hour that you're up there, and you've got to like deal with that. I had that happen. You know Lang, right? Lang Parker.
Yeah, I know Lang.
You know Lang.
Yeah.
She and I did a Tribble run together once, and she remembered we had some of the craziest things happen. There was this one that we were literally performing in front of. It was a town that got prisoners back ready to come back into like society.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the bar where they would go, and they were still divided in the bar. There was like the table of white supremacists in the back, and like the Mexican gangs, and like the Latino, like it was the whole thing. It was just all divided up. And here I am, like this little Jew girl from California. I'm gonna come up there and tell you some dick jokes. And there was a drunk asshole that stood. The bathrooms were right next to the stage, and he got up at the beginning of my set, went and peed in the bathroom, came out of the bathroom, and just thought his job was to stand next to me and yell at me the entire time.
Wow.
And that's the best. And it was so much fun. And Lang and I thought we were going to die that night. We really did. We were like, somebody's going to kill us.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it can get dicey out there, but at the same time, I mean, that's where living is. You know, it's real life is out there.
It's the journey, right? Like, comedy is a fun beast, and I mean, we're all working so hard to get to the top of the mountain, but while we're doing it, it's really, I mean, it's kind of easy to get wrapped up in the whole, I want to be in this, or I want to be this kind of successful. How many Twitter followers can I get? Well, all that stuff is all part of our business and our ego, but it's fun, right?
Yeah, it is. You know, I don't. You know, for some people it's ego, and for some people, what is the top of the mountain? You know, it's different.
Well, I don't think
it's different for different people.
Yeah.
You know, different comics have a different perspective on what
I don't
they
think any comic ever feels like they're at the top of the mountain unless they're in the top like 10 people that we can mention, you know, and even them probably they're like, well, I didn't get this, or I was never on that.
Yeah, well, you know, if you're trying to measure, what the top is, then you're going to be frustrated with trying to figure out if you're there or not.
Yeah, there's always somebody doing better. So
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't measure it that way, because
No.
if I did, I would probably be a lot more neurotic and a lot more stressful and a lot more.
yeah.
I don't measure my success on other people's bar metrics.
Right. Well, you can't. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I do the whole thing where you feel like, oh, I could be doing more. Or I wish I was doing this or whatever. We're all guilty of that. But I do think the journey is so much fun, and like talking about those triple runs. I mean, they're fun. They're just you sleep in like the worst possible hotels, and you put up with so much bullshit, but it's fun.
Do you still go on them?
No, I haven't been on one in a long time. I can't. Not right now. I would, I guess, if I had. I mean, it's really hard for me to go on the road for any significant length of time.
How long are those triple runs? Are they 2
I
weeks,
mean,
3
I guess
weeks,
I
a
could do
month?
just like a few days of one, but
How long are they?
I mean, I don't know. It's been years. I mean, I haven't done one in so long. I've done hell gigs though. Done lots of. I do hell gigs on the regular. I feel like still. I mean, even in LA, you don't have to leave LA to do a hell gig.
Now, what about colleges? I did the NACA circuit for like 8 years, and I'm going to get back on the NACA circuit with the PodBrother Nation tour. Have you done the college circuit?
I've done a couple of colleges. I haven't done a college circuit. I would love that. But I haven't.
How did they receive you on the college? Did they love you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I felt that way. Yeah, I've done a few.
So I'm surprised. I that surprised me, that answer. I thought you would have done like a ton of college tour stuff.
No, I need to.
You know about NACA though, right?
Oh yeah, I've been to NACA with my ex. I should say Ralphie May is my ex, so like, or soon to be ex. We're not quite there, but he and I went to NACA, and but it was about him. It wasn't about me. So like, I was there to pass out. I mean, I passed out my little cards and stuff, but I mean, the main objective was to try and get him more work at NACA.
Right on.
And I was always, that's one thing too. I mean, I've always been super supportive of his career, and I was very into the idea of having a family. Once we had children, once we got married, my focus shifted not away from myself, but more onto him, because it was the logical thing. Like, if I can help his career, then we're a family and we're a unit. And so by his career being great, I'm proud and happy for him.
Well, it's hard to find that compatibility, and it's cool when you do. It seems that you had found that for a minute.
A long minute. We were married for 10 years. It was almost like, it was weird. I didn't believe in the marriage of the institution of marriage or whatever, but the day we got that license, everything shifted in my brain. I was like, oh, you're mine forever. That's a load of crock of shit. But I was like, you're mine forever, and therefore everything that we do together is it's one unit, right? So, and I think he was for a long time, he was interested in me and was seeing me progress positively too. But yeah, I invested a lot. And then once the children came, that also shifted my universe, because now it wasn't even about him anymore. It was about them. And, I fall upwards every day with them. I do the best I can, but that's by far the hardest job. And I'm trying to make them less damaged than me and less damaged than him.
Well, you're a wonderful mother. You're a wonderful person. So I'm sure
sweet.
that's going to be.
You're not going to say I'm a horrible mother. You're horrible.
You just suck, man. You're terrible.
I do. You know what? I try. I went through university and I never took a single child development class. Like, that's a crime. And it's the one job that I had zero training in, and I kind of had to learn it as I went, and they're turning out okay. But I tell you what, I feel like I'm constantly falling upwards and juggling a million plates.
Yeah, but you just really need to have one key thing, and that's love for your kids, and from that you're going to do the right thing, even consciously and subconsciously. You don't need a manual or have some PhD tell you this or tell you that. You just need one thing. You just need like massive amounts of love for your kids, and then by default,
patience too.
well, patience
Sometimes
comes
the love
with
is
that.
always there, but sometimes the patience, I'm like, oh, I got to put myself in a timeout. They're such good kids. They really are. They're really amazing and smart, and I love them. And yeah, I there's no lack of love. But that it isn't until recently that I was like, oh my gosh, I've been given the greatest gift, the saddest gift, but a great gift, which is to focus not on just me and the kids. There's not much else. There are not that many distractions right now as there have been the last couple of years. So it's kind of healthy for me now. And the kids are amazing. And I've been able to really focus on me and come and do your podcast and do things that then let new people figure out how.
Sweet. How do the kids feel about you doing comedy? Don't they think that's cool? Are they old enough to even know that it's cool that mommy does comedy?
They want mommy at home every night with them. And comedy is a night gig thing. So I stay until the last possible minute before mommy has to go to work. And, mommies have to work even with regular jobs. Maybe they don't get picked up from school on time. I'm always there to pick them up from school almost every day unless I have something specific. And then if I have to go out at night, though, I usually have to leave and get a babysitter depending on what time of night. So they don't like mommy leaving. They want mommy all the time.
Well,
and that's hard. Mommy doesn't want to leave me either, let's be honest.
But kids want mommy 24/7.
Jokes.
They want mommy 24/7. So it's mommy's got to leave to do mommy stuff sometimes.
You know what? I honestly feel like I wouldn't be, and this I don't know how this will be taken, but I always did stand up right from the time both of the kids were born. I did it before I had kids. I don't want to stop because I had kids because I love it, even though I love my kids more than anything else on the planet. But I feel like I would be a far worse mother if I didn't continue doing stand-up because I love stand-up so much too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd be much happier if you damn brats didn't make me stop doing comedy. It's like, go outside.
No
I'm angry.
Man
angry and bitter.
That's true, but male comics don't stop doing stand-up because they've had a child, so it just is what it is. But I think that they're in their world, having mommy be a comedian is not that big of a deal because they go to a school chock full of all kinds of creative people and entertainers. So I think that I don't know. They're probably going to be embarrassed by me in a few years. When they do finally figure it out, they're like, oh, God, Mom.
They're like, what?
Their friends will start Googling me, and then it'll be like, your mom did what? Your mom was naked where?
Nice.
There's some pretty risque photos of me and things like that. They'll be horrified. Or proud. Proud and horrified at the same time.
Well, you have the opportunity to, teach them how to be proud of your body and what you do and your comedy and your, your critical thinking and your creativity. I see it as an opportunity versus something that, like, if you teach them those things early, and they can wrap their mind around it as they get older. These are
but their friends won't let them live it down, though. Let's be honest. Their friends are going to be like, your mom, your dad, but it's okay.
But
it's still cool. And I'll be like, look, you guys have awesome lives, so just be happy.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have peer pressure anyway, regardless. You could have two perfect parents who did nothing, super right, religious, and you're still going to have your friends bust your chops about your parents or about whatever.
At least behind my door, what's going on because I kick my front door open. But in that perfect family home, there might be some fucked up shit going on behind that closed door, right?
Well, there usually is. That's why.
It's too normal. I don't trust normal.
I don't either. I don't trust, too Guy Smiley, too normal, too perfect. There's, because in my experience.
Does it exist? Does perfection exist? I don't know.
It does. It exists in you and I.
Thank you. All right.
We're perfect at being human beings, and all the shortcomings and the craziness and the mistakes that come with that makes us perfect. we're perfect because we're doing the things and taking the risk and exploring, and we're given a gift and we're doing something with it.
We're lucky enough to be here, right?
And we're taking chances, and we're doing, we're risky. Perfect human beings take risk and make mistakes and fail forward, and that's, to me, that's perfection.
I just think you can't. Do you think you can have it all?
I think we already have it all. We just don't know it because we're trying to measure it through somebody else's standard of what success is.
I definitely think we're pretty good off in the first world here. That's pretty lucky, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do have, some creature comforts and some opportunities and
We're pretty lucky.
some freedoms. But, given that, we all have, we all have it. We just have to figure out how to find it, how to find our way.
Yeah.
So, you did was it a naked podcast? What'd you do naked?
Oh, naked stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a funny story. Yeah, I did it was 3 shows over 2 nights, totally naked comedy. Everybody in the audience was naked. The performers were as well. I was so nervous. I was going to have a panic attack. But I was the headliner, and it was very liberating. But it was so funny. I mean, it was one of the... I have all these jokes about it. Like, they're all true. Like, I say the booker didn't pay me. I still haven't gotten paid. I still talk to him. I'm like, when are you going to pay me? It's been probably a year and a half. And then I said, until you pay me, I'm going to tell everyone you have a little dick. So, but yeah, you know what? I've there we go again. Okay, so as an example of a hell gig, that's pushing yourself outside your comfort level, and that only makes you better. It made me a better comedian.
Well, because I'm doing there's a naked comedy show coming up in June, and I signed up for.
Really? Where?
Yeah. It's in North Hollywood somewhere.
It's good. Do it because it's good. You like. I mean, it's good.
Well, I've done one before. I did one in New York.
Good. Was the audience naked or just the performers?
The audience was naked. Yes. Yeah. It was actually. I did a gig, and there was a couple at the club, and they said, we're having a private party. We'd love to hire you to come and do a private party. And
it's for nudists.
And it's for nudists, and there might be some people, getting it on, but don't worry about it.
It's a swingers thing.
It was a swingers thing, but I didn't know it at the time. They kind of hooked me in. It's kind of like, there's gonna be some naked people there, pool party, having fun. Might be some people getting. And I get there, and it was a full-on swinger party, and they go. Well, wait a minute. We're all naked. Why aren't you naked? So I was like, well, I'm not afraid to get naked and bust jokes. I don't want to hurt nobody, but, So they all was like, yeah, we want you to get naked. There was a chance. So I got naked. I did the rest of my set naked, and it was really fun.
Did you do any swinging at the swinger party?
Yeah. I'm a guy. I'm normal. I was single. It was just one of those things where, okay, I'm here. I'm way out in, Hamptons someplace, so sure, why not?
It was in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
So was it a posh thing, too?
It wasn't posh, but it wasn't blue collar. It was like upper middle class. It was nice, but it wasn't like, way out in the Hamptons, super, like, swanky rich.
So who did you swing with? Was it like...
There was a couple ladies there who... had their eye on me right from the beginning, and they just like swooped in like a couple of vultures, and I felt like raw meat on a floor with a pit bull kennel. It was crazy, but it was.
How many women did you sleep with that night?
I think it was 2 that night.
At the same time, or one and then?
No, it was one and then the other.
Was it public? Like, were as people watching?
No, it was like they scooped me up and took me like to this little private room. And then,
one at a time.
One at a time, yeah. It's kind of like, I want to party with you. And I was like, okay, what's that mean? And they were like, well, we go and like get it on. And it's like, well, in front of all these people, because there were like different areas. And
were there people sleeping like?
Yeah, there was people. There was open areas.
Can I say
yeah.
curse words? I guess we're talking about fucking, so we may as well say
Well,
fucking.
I mean, we're live on Facebook, so we can get away with whatever, I guess.
All right.
But yeah, it was there was some people, and
There's some.
some people, getting it on in different areas and patches and stuff, and I was like, okay, whatever. So she's like, yeah, let's go play.
Were they attractive women?
They were very attractive.
Ah,
Yeah,
see, that's like.
they were like, wow.
So did you get paid for this gig?
I did get paid for that gig, yeah, and it was crazy money too. And it was a limo ride out there, which was cool.
Shit.
Yeah, and a limo ride out.
Were there
and,
drugs involved too?
I didn't see any. I'm sure there probably were, but it was a food, like it was serious spread of food, and it was like alcohol, all the drinks. They had a bartender.
How many people
There.
were there at this
It's
approximately?
about 200.
It's a huge party.
Yeah, it was a big deal with a pool and upstairs, downstairs, and they
So
kind of.
after the stand-up were people paying attention when you were performing?
Yeah, everybody was paying attention. I mean, it was, because I was the main thing. I was the only entertainment. I was like, and the couple that saw me at the show, they were like, okay, we're going to have a comedian. And I told them, I says, okay, look, here's how it has to work. There needs to be nothing going on during my set, like no TV, nobody playing pool in the back. It's like, you can play and eat and stuff and do what you do afterwards, but I really need to have an attentive audience, and I can't be working against the crowd because the environment's already going to be like whacked.
Did you you didn't know when you were going in there? You're like, and I can't have people fucking in front of me while I'm trying to tell my joke. That'd be crazy. If
Well, I didn't know that was going to happen, but as she was explaining, well, there might be some people. She was trying to give me a soft landing. She didn't really want to say it was a swinger party, but she wanted to kind of let me know that, okay, you might see this, you might see that, and I'm like, I don't care what I might see. I'm just saying when I do my set, like everybody needs to be eyes, ears, penis, vaginas forward for the show, and then from there they can do what they need to do.
That's a great story. That's a crazy, great story. The fact that you got laid there too. So the limo waited around for you until you finished banging those two women to take you back into the city.
Yeah, because they paid for it, so they're like, you can stay for the party and hang out. You can go back whenever you want to, and the limo will be there to take you back. So
Crazy.
it was crazy. So have you done a party like that, or a show, or a gig,
No,
or?
nothing like that. Well, I mean, the nude thing was very naked, but there was no swinging involved. So no, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think if I've ever. I'm pretty tame by comparison to that.
So
I guess I've always sort of had a threesome. My husband was 500 pounds. That's always my joke. Bing. It's like,
That's funny. Oh man. So in a perfect world, moving forward with what you want to do with your comedy career right now, writing, film, TV, sitcom.
Well, I wrote a movie, and I've got about a third of the financing in place. We need some more, but it's. I know we're going to shoot it in the next few months.
You have the script already done?
Script's done. They need 250. It's ultra low budget to shoot it. We've got 80. But once you have the first chunk, apparently it's going to be easier to get the rest. So I'm just sort of like going along with it. But yeah, that's very exciting. I wrote the script about a year ago.
Do you have a production company that you're working with that's
Sort
gonna?
of, yeah. There's been like, yeah, but not exactly.
Mhm.
It's more about I've got a partner in it, and he's got an investor, and then I have another person that I'm working with who says he's got access to investors. So we got the one. So it's just a matter of getting a few more people on point, and then we can shoot this thing. It's a really funny comedy, and we'll see. It's my first time to do anything like that.
Do you have a sound department yet? Because I do sound for film.
So it depends on where we shoot it, but yeah, we don't have anything in place yet. Once we have the budget, then we can talk. So yeah, I would totally.
I want to be in it actually. I want to like a little small part in your
Okay.
movie.
I mean, trust me, there was plenty of parts in it. It's a comedy road trip thing, and knock on wood, we'll get it done in the next few months. We've got real close to shooting it over the summer, and then things held it up, and so hopefully I'll know more about it pretty soon. But that's one thing that I'm really excited about. Then the other thing is this new comedy album that been working on for the past year. It's really interesting because it's one of the it's a lot about going through my relationship breaking up, but it's comedic. It's really funny, and I was very lucky because I became very good friends with someone who is a brilliant producer. He was one of the former heads of Warner Brother Records. Like he produced so much music there, and he's brilliant. And so he took what I do and made it like, I don't know. I'm really proud of it. So we set a date for that to come out in September.
Well, that sounds exciting. Are you going to have some kind of like a launch party?
I'm working on it. Yeah. Yes, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a couple of dates in LA to do like a release party.
Like a red carpet kind of do, kind of like how they.
Ooh, I should roll out a red carpet for it.
You should.
What else should I do? Make it like red carpet.
Yeah, you could make it like a red carpet, something kind of cool, because I do
like
red carpet events
thing.
too.
What you do? You know how to do that?
I know how to do that. Yeah.
You have access to a red carpet?
Yeah. We're sitting on a red carpet. I mean, I got to clean it.
This is a red carpet.
But yeah, I can get one. But all this pipe and drape is what we can use for your step and repeat. So you. Yeah.
But how do you get? So I will have to talk about this because.
Yeah, I have a company that can do your logo on it and your album, and and then
step and repeat.
Do a step and repeat.
So people who are coming to the party will
stand in front of it and get pictures for Getty.
Will you come to my party and do the step and repeat on my red carpet?
Yeah, I would love to.
Then if it's just you and I, then that'll be our step and repeat.
I could do PodBrother interviews for you.
Dude, I would love that.
As guests come and they can basically just praise how awesome your album is.
All right, I hadn't thought about it that far, but I'm down for that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea how these things work.
Yeah, this stuff is a necessary evil to, get your image out there, build your brand, and build all your IMDb. It's tedious and arduous and
sounds like fun.
Daunting, but at the same time, if you look at it as something that can be kind of fun and cool, and it's an opportunity to network and kind of celebrate yourself and celebrate your friends and celebrate the industry. I look at it as like little mini celebrations of like milestones that you achieve, and you just go with it. Just have fun.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I think I can. Let's talk about this because, if you want to do it, we're talking about with Norman, the guy I was telling you about. We've been talking about doing like a couple of dates leading up to the release date, and then normally I just play my guitar by myself. But we were talking about putting a band together and making it more of a musical production. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know. We're hammering it out. I've got a few months and a lot of work to do in the next few months. But
well, sounds like you're having some fun with fleshing it out and the collaboration of it all. So it sounds like it's going to be a really cool album at the end. Something cool.
Right now I'm just shooting these music videos, too, which that's a whole other thing we talked about a minute ago. So maybe we'll be able to collaborate.
I want to be in your music video.
Okay, well, you got to get that hip done, or x-rayed, and then you come by, okay?
I will do that. So text me, like, when and where, and in my phone when we leave.
I'd love it. I would be honored to have you.
I think we'll have a lot of fun doing that. So I'm writing a couple of short films I would love to have you in, but I definitely would love to have you in my romantic feature, my comedy romantic feature script that I'm writing.
I'd love to. You know what? I've been so blessed this year. I've had several people... that just made my night, dude. Do you know Jill Michelle Melion? Do you know her? She's awesome. She's a comedian.
The name is familiar, but I'm not sure.
She wrote a short film and gave me a part in it, and that's going to shoot this summer. I don't know if you know Dante, the comic.
I know Dante. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I love Dante.
I love Dante too, and he wrote a part in his zombie film, and I've got a big part in that, and like. I did a part in, I don't think you know Catherine Reinhardt, but she's a good friend of mine. I did a small piece in her film recently, and I just feel like so lucky to be able to just be invited into projects. Like, that's fucking awesome. So, yes, I'm there. Just whatever you need.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm still fleshing my script out, and but, when I get it done and I'm ready to actually start producing it, now that I know that you're interested in being in it, I can.
yeah.
There's a character that I have in mind that I'll just write you into it, and I'll write into you.
Okay.
And I think once we have I'll see you a few more times on my podcast, and we can talk about some other stuff. But I would love to write you into this project I'm
We've
working
made
on.
all these plans tonight. This is awesome.
I
And
know.
it's all been recorded.
It's all been recorded, so we have
we have to do it all.
we have to make sure
No
that it's
freaking
real
out.
because now it's.
We've got a red carpet. You got to get your X-ray. You got to get over to my deal. I got to get into your short films. So we got all these things. What else did we talk about?
We talk about me and your feature and you and my feature.
We got to do a hell gig.
We got to do a hell gig.
Okay.
And I got to do nude comedy.
You're doing nude comedy. I guess I have to play a swingers event.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to check that out.
I probably should. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, maybe we could do it together. I could.
If you get a gig,
I'll MC it. You close it, and then we can just write material about what goes on for the rest of the night.
I'll do it. I'm there. I just for the story. That story was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's. I got a lot of stories. I have a story. We don't have time to go into it right now, but when we talk again, I'm sure you have some incredible stories, and we're going to do this again. But I think you're just going to be blown away with some of the stories. I mean, I've been in this business for 30 years, and nobody knows who I am, and I'm okay with that. But I've done some fascinating stuff.
I know who you are.
Between college gigs and cruise ships and corporate
You're
stuff, and it's been a really amazing journey for me. Well, I appreciate you. I know you have to get back to your kids, so I'm going to cut this short tonight, but I'm really, really honored and blessed that you stopped into PodBrother Nation and share with me a little bit of some inside Lahna. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so
And
much.
I got mad love and hugs for you, and I wish you the best in everything you got going, and I want to be a part of a lot of what you have going. And in the meantime, I need you to do me a big favor. I need you to look into that camera and say your name and say, "Stick with the PodBrother."
Okay. Just Lahna Turner.
Yep.
Hey guys, I'm Lahna Turner. Like that?
Yep.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Lahna Turner. Stick with the PodBrother.
Awesome.
Is it brothers or brother?
It's brother, but some people call me plural, and I make fun of that. I'm like, oh, you made me a whole bunch of people. You made me brothers. There's only one. There's only one PodBrother.
It's hilarious, man. I know it's what you just said. I mirror it because I thank you for having me tonight, and we have a lot of missions now, a lot of projects.
Awesome. So before we get out of here, how can we follow you, find you? Give me all of your social media, your
Okay.
Facebook, your website, your Twitter.
Easy. Twitter, I've been super active on Twitter lately. It's been really good. So it's LAHNATURNER. If you do the LANA, you're going to find an old actress. I don't know that she's on Twitter, but there's an old actress named Lahna Turner. But I'm Lahna, LAHNA. LANA spells anal backwards, so that's not me. LAHNATURNER. And I have a website. I've got Instagram, which I'm get more on. Twitter, I'm super active. And I've got a podcast. Since we're doing the PodBrothers, we should just quick shout out to my podcast called The Perfect 10.
Yeah, we should
do that. It's really
do that.
fun, and we get really filthy, and
Is it a call in? Can we call in, or you record
we're not
it?
set up to call in, but people tweet me stuff, and we talk about it a lot on the podcast. So maybe one day, if somebody has something they really want to call in on, they can do it, and you're welcome to come on anytime. We'll have you as a guest.
Yeah, I would love to come on your show.
I'll have you
and
on
just
in the next few weeks. We'll schedule it in a few minutes.
hang out, and we can just talk cool stuff.
Just like today, you can tell me more what are not threesome but swinger stories.
I have tons. I have tons of stories, all kinds of
All
stories.
right, I want to hear them.
And man, time flies. We're only going to do 10, 15 minutes, and it's been 30, 40, I don't know. But, when you're with good people doing good stuff, that's what happens. All right, baby. Well, I'm going to let you go. Give your kids a big hug from me, from the PodBrother, and thank you very much for stopping by and chopping it up. And we will see you around the corner. Whatever you do, have fun doing it. And remember, it's all about the journey, baby. Thank you, Lahna.
Thank you.
I'm the PodBrother. Peace.